Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be a one brand tutorial on Wet n Wild products. I am so excited to film this video. Wet n Wild has quickly become my all-time favorite drugstore brand, and I really have been wanting to film a one brand tutorial for a long time. And I've actually never filmed a one brand tutorial on my channel before, so there's a first for everything. So I've been accumulating products for the past few months, and once I tried the Mega Glow highlighters from Wet n Wild, I think those are like some of the first products I picked up from them. I quickly just fell in love with the brand with everything else that I had tried from them. So I have everything to do a full face of makeup for you guys today, including eyeliner. So I'm super excited to share this tutorial with you guys. I've done this look like a million times on my eyes, but we're going to be using just one eyeshadow palette. We're going to be using the highlighters, the blushes, everything, the lipsticks, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. My shirt's driving me nuts. So I actually did pick up a couple of things just today, so I will be trying them for the first time, but there's only like 2 products here that I've never tried before. Everything else I basically have a full opinion on. I've tried them a bunch of times that I could tell you guys how I feel about them. So we're going to start off by priming our eyes, and we're going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. This is actually the only drugstore eyeshadow primer that I own. And I picked this up a little while ago, and I wanted to do a voiceover, but I was like, you know what? I have like a lot to say about these products. So I think I'm going to do a talk through tutorial, and plus I'm filming in my room because I just thought it would be easier. I feel like there's just too much dust accumulating in my bathroom lately. I have to really clean my bathroom. I know that's kind of a little gross, but I just thought it would be different to sit down and film here, and plus it's kind of a pain in the ass and a really big hassle for me to get up and down and look in the mirror all the time while I'm filming a video. I think it's like so distracting for you. And I was like, I'm just gonna finally just film in my room. So anyway, this primer, it's a very tacky primer, and I do really like it. I know some people said it's not like a really good primer for dry eyes, but I have dry skin, but my eyes really, like, they never get scaly or anything. They really don't get dry at all. I don't have a problem with them, so the eyeshadows go on just fine with this. It is a little sticky though, and I don't love it for all day eyeshadow wear. I like it for wearing it for a shorter period of time of wear. So I'm just wearing my eyeshadow for like actually I'm going to be wearing it for like 4 hours today since I'm getting ready now. So I like it for that. I don't necessarily love it for all day wear. So now we're going to set our primer down, and I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder in the shade Warm Light. I actually really enjoy this powder. I actually have been liking this powder more now since I first tried it, because I feel like it wasn't really doing much when I had first used it. I was like, oh, it's not really like doing much for my skin. But then as I use it more, I find that just such a smooth powder. It kind of just becomes one with your skin, and it's so lightweight that it feels like nothing on your skin. I have a mirror down here if I keep on looking down here, and I really do love it. It's a really smooth primer, makes your eyeshadow really smooth and everything, so I really do enjoy this. I love this for full coverage looks and really light makeup looks, but we'll use this again later to set our face. Now we're going to go into eyeshadow, and I'm basically just going to be using one palette today. I find that this palette is pretty much good to do a full eye look with. It has a transition shade in there. It has good crease shades. It has good lid shades. So this is the Wet n Wild Not a Basic Peach palette. And this is actually a brand new one, which breaks my heart, because I really was actually making a substantial dent in this transition shade right here. But as you can see, it has a transition shade, which is really good for my skin tone. And then it has this really beautiful transition for deeper skin tones. But I accidentally damaged it, so I dropped it on the floor. So this is a brand spanking new one, and I haven't dived into this one yet. I used the old one at least like probably 7 or 8 times, and I'm a little bit upset that I had to get a new one. But this was basically free because I got it with CVS extra bucks. So we're going to use that. I'm just going to dip my brush into my color switch to clean it off a little bit. And we're going to dive into the palette. So I'm going to take that shade that says transition and I'm going to use that as a transition shade. It's like this light, I'm going to put a tissue in my lap just so I don't get like eyeshadow fallout everywhere. And I haven't filmed in my room in a long time, or I don't really film tutorials in my room. So I'm going to take this guy, and I know that these are very pigmented eyeshadows, so I don't want to make too much of a mess. That's the only reason why I film usually in the bathroom. So I'm just going to get up really close and I'm going to start working that in my crease area. And I'm using my Luxe Beauty crease brush. This is like my favorite crease brush ever. But this is just like a really light crease shade. Perfect for beginners. And don't be afraid of the fallout of this palette because it's really not hard to work with, which I do like. Because sometimes palettes that have a lot of kick up sometimes are a lot harder to work with. I should have moisturized my face before this because I did take off makeup from before, but I don't really care that much. I'm such a horrible because I'm going to prime my face again anyway, that I find that that basically does the job for me, and I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So I'm just going to take that and put that in my crease here. I'm not sure if I'm going to like, there's so much kick up in this dang palette, you guys. I might have to drag over a trash can because it's kind of getting eyeshadow everywhere already. And I'm trying to tap it off over my lap, but it's like kicking up all over the pan. But it doesn't have any fallout on your eyes. So I think that's pretty good for a base. I'm just going to clean it off a little bit. Hold on. Alright, so I'm just going to keep a garbage can next to me, but that's basically what we're doing for the transition shade. Now I'm going to dip into this really beautiful bright orange shade right here. There's no names in this palette. They just say crease. Like sometimes Wet n Wild doesn't name their eyeshadows. They just call it a crease shade. They call it a transition. Like that's what they basically call it. But I just use this as a crease shade. So I'm going to dip into that one with the same brush. And I'm going to try and tap it off here. This one's really pigmented, so you don't really need that much of it. It's a really beautiful orange shade. And I'm just going to put that in my crease as my actual crease shade. I'm like as my actual crease shade. Let's speak English today, Caitlin. So we're just going to put that all over here. And excuse my eyebrows. I know my eyebrows need a little bit of work. And then we're going to just slowly build it up a little bit and kind of just take it a little bit higher. So just like that. And I'm just going to take it a little bit up here too. But I feel like I really need to build up this shade right now. I feel like the other palette I had a more pigmented orange in it. I'm definitely going to have to go into that more and build up that orange. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same on the other eye. So I'm just going to take a bunch of that again. And we're going to work it on this eye as well. Sorry if you can't really see what I'm doing on this side. I'm not left-handed, so I have to hold the brush a little bit differently to show you guys how I'm working on this side. And also, since I'm holding up the brush, I think you guys get the drift of how to blend out a crease shade. So I'm just going to work that in my crease, just like that. But honestly, they really are like one of my favorite brands now. Like their stuff is bomb. Like basically everything I try from them I pretty much fall in love with. And they're so inexpensive. And I really wanted to do a one brand tutorial with them because they're so inexpensive. And I really wanted to do a drugstore tutorial because, hello, then like you can go out and get these products yourself and not like break the bank. Like, I think this is not over, like, $50 worth of products. And I think that's a really good budget. Like, you could spend that on, like, one high-end foundation, basically. And you get, like, all these products for 50 bucks. Alright, so I think just wanted to blend this side a little bit more. All right, I'm just gonna go check how that looks in the mirror real quick. Okay, now we're gonna move on to defining the crease more. So I'm just gonna take my other Real Techniques brush. I don't have any Wet n Wild brushes. I'm not like a huge person about trying out new makeup brushes. Like once I find a brush I love, that's all I use. Like I really just don't really waste that much money on brushes. I'm not really like a huge like brush person. If I find affordable brushes that work, that's what I use, and I don't buy anything else. So if you guys have tried any Wet n Wild brushes that you like, please let me know. So now I'm going to use this really beautiful warm brown shade, and this is the shade called Transition as well, but I find it works really nicely for a defining shade for me, but I think it'll be a really gorgeous like chocolatey brown shade for deeper skin tones. So I'm going to take that and put that in my crease, just right here. This is so weird filming in here. Because I kind of have to like go like this with my neck. I feel like my eyeshadows do not want to go on the way I want to today. I don't know, like I feel like this palette feels different using it now. I don't know. Maybe because I haven't used it in a little while. Or maybe I'm just weird. But I'm just going to do that, and then, but it does look different. You see how much more depth there is to the look with that shade. And then I'm going to put that here as well. I usually start from the outer corner and work my way in. I hope this doesn't turn out like an unblended mess in the crease. I hope I can actually see what I'm doing. I swear, I always need to like hold up. I always have to like go right in the mirror in my own bathroom to actually see what I'm doing. But I think it looks pretty good. And then I just want a little bit more over here. Alright, and once we're done with that, we're going to pop on this brown on the outer corners to define the outer corners. So I'm just going to take the same brush. That's a really pigmented brown. It's really nice, and I'm just going to put that here. But why do I feel like these mattes don't work as well as the other ones that I had in the other palette? I don't know, that I feel like that palette was better. But these are good too, so not really complaining. I'm just so upset that I broke that other one because I get so overwhelmed with eyeshadows that it's like I basically have to like restart the way I use this again, and it's a pain in the ass to me. Like I had to do that with the Stila eyeshadow palette when I broke that one. It drives me insane. I hate like damaging makeup, but who likes it? Obviously no one. Okay, I think that's pretty good for that. Just wanna yeah, okay. And now we're gonna go in with my lid shade. I want to use, I'm not sure which shade I want to use today. I usually use one of these two shades, but I think I'm going to use both of these. I'm going to see how both of them look. I think I'm going to use this one on the middle of my lid, and then I'm going to use the other one on like this part of my lid. So we're going to go in with that darker taupe shade, and I'm just going to put that right here with my finger, and then we'll wet it after this. But I don't find the shimmer shades to be that pigmented. I find that the most pigmented shimmer shade in this palette is the gold shade. It's so gorgeous. I think I'm just gonna layer up these two and then just put, but I want to use the gold on the inner corners, so we're just gonna do that. And then I'm gonna take that other shade, like the more duochromy peach shade, and I'm gonna put that right here. I feel like the thing I'm going to have the most trouble with is liner, but that always happens to me. I'm like just terrible at eyeliner. Like doing it on camera. I'm okay doing it not on camera, but on camera I'm like absolutely horrible. I might just try and do one eye and then like do the other eye off camera. But I'll try my best. Okay, and then we're going to take some of just a regular Real Techniques brush, and I'm going to spray my brush and get those a little bit more pigmented. I'm just going to use my NYX primer spray. I always use this anyway to prime my shadows now. And I'm just going to put that on my lid. I did buy a new setting spray today from Wet n Wild just for this. So I'm going to try that out too. But to get my eyeshadows a little bit more pigmented, I just use the NYX one. Oh, that's really pretty actually. It's really nice wet. And then I'm going to do that on this side. And then I'm just going to finish it up and do the other one. Alright, so I just took the primer spray and wet the other eyeshadow as well. I actually think that looks really pretty. And then for the brow bone highlight, I'm just going to dip into this like white shimmery shade up here, and I'm going to use that as a brow bone highlight. But I want to use this palette like as much as possible. But I have been using other palettes lately. I just so happened wanted to use this one today. This is driving me nuts. And I'm just going to take my Crown Concealer brush. I know that's like so weird, but I really like using this as a brow bone highlight. And I just sweep it across my eye just like this, right on the high points. And then I'm just going to take my brush with no product on it, and I'm just going to clean it up a little bit and blend it out a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to go check the eye look in the mirror, and then we'll move on to liner. Alright, so I just went and deepened up the crease a little bit more, just so I could get more of that, those crease shades a little bit more pigmented. And now we're going to move on to liner. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Pro Line Felt Tip Eyeliner in the shade Dark Brown. I actually really like these eyeliners, and I've been using them for a while now. I got them a while back. They're a really nice felt tip liner, and I'm going to just line my eyes with those on the top. Oh my god, it's going to be a disaster. I'm going to try my best to do it on camera. But I might just do it a little bit and then just finish it off in the bathroom. Yeah, I'm gonna have to finish it off in the bathroom, but that's what it looks like basically. Okay, so I finished up the eyeliner, and I did just clean up the under eyes of any fallout of eyeshadow with the simple, with the simple makeup wipes. Now I'm just going to, oh my god, I'm dropping everything. Jeez, Caitlin. I'm going to be just priming my face with my NYX primer spray. This is the only thing I'm using that's not from Wet n Wild today. So I'm just going to spritz my face with that. Plus, I really love this as like a burst of hydration before I actually go in with primer. So the primer we're using today is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Face Primer. I actually really like this primer. It's really nice and moisturizing and hydrating, but I also feel like it works really nicely with full coverage foundations. I'm taking about 2 drops, and I'm just going to work that into my skin. Pretty sure I don't have any eyeshadow on my fingers anymore. But I really, really like it. I think it's a really good primer. It doesn't really create that much of a white cast. I also feel like it moisturizes kind of at the same time, but it's also very tacky. So I like it for full coverage foundation, and I like it for foundation that's really light. I wouldn't necessarily pair this primer with the foundation I'm going to be using because the one I'm using is pretty full coverage. But I do really like this for daily wear, and it's just a nice, smooth primer. So I actually really enjoy it, and I actually did just repurchase a second one. So this is pretty much almost finished. But I've been using this since like last year, and this is a really good primer. So that's the primer I used. And then for foundation, I think you guys already know what I'm going to be using. Pretty much everyone and their mom uses this foundation when they do a one brand tutorial or when they do a Wet n Wild look. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, and this one's in the shade Porcelain. I'm not absolutely insane about this foundation. I'm going to apply it. It's very messy, first of all. You have to be very careful applying it because it has like this spatula applicator, and it's also very, very full coverage. Oh, what am I doing? But I can just use that and spread it onto my cheeks and stuff. And I also find it has a very dry formula. And I don't know, I'm just like not obsessed with this foundation like other people are. Please let me know if that's like a very unpopular opinion. But I've actually seen like one channel where she actually likes the concealer more. But like most people like die over this foundation. I'm just like, it's okay. It's not like freaking amazing. It's good. Like I like the finish of it and stuff, but it's not like freaking like hella amazing, like holy grail status for me. So I'm just gonna be blending it out with my Real Technique sponge. I did just wash the sponge, so it should be damp enough for me to blend out the foundation. But I don't know. I mean, it has really beautiful coverage, as you can see. I really need to start filming more of my videos like this because you guys actually can see what I'm freaking doing. And I feel like since I'm better at makeup now than I was before, like the last time I actually filmed in this room. But I just find, I don't know, I just don't love the finish of it. I prefer like other full coverage foundations to this one. I just want to kind of work some of that foundation I had on my chin on my actual cheeks. Like it's not bad, but it's just not like my favorite. It's good. It's not like, oh my god, I love it. It's just like something about the formula that I don't like. I'm not like in love with. So I'm just going to continue to blend this out. But I just want to show you guys how it blends out. Maybe it's because I use it with a sponge, but I use every single foundation with a sponge because I don't like the finish of a brush. And I do think with this foundation, it kind of like, you know, thins it out a bit so it's not as full coverage. Can't really talk when I'm blending this part. And then I'm going to blend it out here. I don't love it on my nose either. I don't think it's that great on my nose, but we're going to try and blend it out as much as I can. feel like it really didn't cover my nose that well, but we can just fix that with concealer. And I'm also going to blend out my forehead. All right, we're basically almost done. We just have concealer, powder, waterline, contour, blush, highlight, lips. And I'm just going to drag it down my neck. And that's about it. All right, so that's the finish of the foundation. I think I used it in like a first impressions tutorial or something of like new products. And it's not like it's bad. Like it looks really good on camera, and it's not like, it doesn't look like a mask. And it's a really good shade match. As you can see, it basically matches my skin. So I'm not like complaining about that. I just don't, maybe because it's matte, maybe I'm not like crazy about it. It's still good though. Like I still like it. I'm just not like obsessed with it. When I first got it though, I used it like pretty much for like a week straight just to test it out. I feel like I can't like do that anymore because like I don't like wear full coverage foundation all the time that much. But I haven't used this in like probably a month, so I wanted to use it tonight and just tell you guys how it is. And then for concealer, we're going to be using the Photo Focus Concealer. I need to stop saying Wet n Wild. You guys obviously know this is all Wet n Wild. In the shade Light Ivory. And I actually really like this concealer. I know that's not a very popular opinion. I think that most people like the foundation over the actual concealer. But I actually really like this concealer. I think it's really good. And I'm just going to put it where I usually put my concealer. I'm not sure if I should have picked up a new one of this too, because I feel like I'm running out of this. But there was a point where I was using this like every day, because I just really loved it. I'm going to try and swipe it and kind of like do this so I can see if I can stretch it as much as I can. I think I have enough, but I probably need to go get a new one. I feel like it's almost empty. Also, the problem with drugstore concealers is that you run out of them really quickly because I feel like they never put any product in there. So I'm just going to blend it out. And the only thing about this concealer shade range that I don't love is that they don't have a porcelain shade. The lightest shade is ivory, light ivory. And I'm not saying this shade like doesn't work for me. And sometimes I don't love like a really stark white concealer on me with every single look. So I kind of feel like this is a really nice neutral concealer to work with. But, you know, I still want a porcelain shade. It's just weird when makeup companies don't come out with like basically the same shade range as their foundations. It's like, if you came out with a porcelain foundation, why wouldn't you come out with a porcelain concealer too? But I'm really not complaining because at least they have a shade for me. Trying to like speed blend because I feel like this is so monotonous watching me. I'm just going to blend out that part. All right, so I started to blend out the under eyes, but I just needed a little bit more. So I'll just show you how I blend it out now. So I just finished blending it out on my forehead and stuff. I'm just going to finish up the under eyes. See how pretty the coverage is? It actually has really, really good coverage. But it's also like not too heavy. I just really like it. And I feel like it's nice and tacky without being like heavy. I just think it's a really nice everyday concealer. Oh my god. I have to like adjust myself every 5 seconds just to see what I'm doing. Because I'm crazy. Just want to press it in underneath my eyes. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. See that? I just really think that these two really mesh well together, and I feel like I like the foundation more once like concealer's on. So now I'm going to set my beauty sponge aside, and I'm going to try this guy for my under eyes. Now, usually for me, I always use a loose under eye setting powder for my under eyes, but I'm going to try something different today. I actually saw Kathleen Light's use this to brighten up her under eyes on her one brand tutorial. I watched hers just to get a couple of ideas. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild contouring palette, the Mega Glow contouring palette, and Dulce de Leche. And I'm going to be using this white shade right here to set my under eyes. So I thought that would be better than using like a different brand to set my under eyes. Since I don't own a loose setting powder from Wet n Wild, I thought this would be pretty to use. And I always feel like I never have enough product when I do this, but this is really pretty. I like that a lot. And I feel like I might have to change it up a little bit because I feel like loose powders crease under my eyes a lot. But I feel like maybe with a pressed one, it won't do that as much. Like I feel like, see how much that brightened it up though? It's like really pretty. So I'm just going to do that. And I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that a lot. So we went ahead and set the under eyes. Now we're going to go in with a waterline eyeliner. And I'm going to be using this Kohl Crayon Poreless Use. Okay, I'm just going to say Kohl Crayon Eyeliner in the shade Simma Brown now. I saw like some really good reviews on these online, so I'm going to use this to line my waterline. And this is the first time I'm using it today. I did actually purchase the black one. Actually, oh, I forgot I have to. Hold on. I'm not smudging anything on my lower lash line. So I'm going to go back into the Not a Basic Peach palette. And I'm just going to use my little MAC brush. And I'm not doing my inner corners either. I mean, like, just skip everything today, Caitlin. So I think I'm going to take the orange and this one and just smudge those both on the lower lash line. And they're both really nice, warm, pigmented eyeshadows, but they go like a long way. So you don't really need much of the product underneath the eyes. Hopefully this video isn't going to be like 10 million years long after I actually watch it through. I'm just going to do the same on the other eye. All right, and then for the inner corners, we're going to take that really beautiful shimmery gold shade, which is my favorite gold in the palette. This one just has a much more buttery formula than the other two shades. I don't know why. So we're just going to take that and put that right here. Oh, so pretty. Oh, look how pigmented that is. Oh, I love it. It's just a really beautiful yellowy gold. I think I got concealer on my brush. I don't know how I did that. Just need a little bit more here. Okay, just like that. And then I'm just going to take my beauty blender and just press it right here just to set it a little bit more. Well, not to set it, to kind of like get rid of a little bit of that shimmer that ended up on the lower lash line. So that's it for that. And now we're going to go in with the liner and we're going to line my waterline. Like I said, it's the Kohl liner in Simma Brown now, which is cute. Like Simma Down now, it's called Simma Brown now. And I think this is going to add a really nice warm tone brown to the waterline. It's not that pigmented. I bought the black one and somehow I completely misplaced it, so I thought this one would be fine for this. I went out and bought this today because I was like, I need to get. It's very, very pointy though. Jeez. I think this would be better as a top lid like liner. But I really don't like pencil liners for my. Oh, fuck. That hurts. Sorry. I think that's the best we can do. I think that looks pretty good though, so I'm kind of poking my eyes. That's a little bit rough on the waterline, but you get so much product. Like, this is so worth it. It's like $2 or like $1.50, and this is like, I feel like I'm never gonna run out of this. So I thought that was a steal. And then for mascara, so we can finish off the eyes and move on to the face, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Mega Length Waterproof Mascara. And this is a really good mascara, you guys, but it's very wet. I actually bought this one at Walgreens, and they were doing like a buy two products, get one free on like every brand, and they do that promo a lot. But I really do love this mascara. It's just very wet that it can transfer like to everything. I feel like it's not really coating my lashes as well today. Usually it does, but probably because I already wore mascara today, it might be a little bit picky. But it's a good one. And I'm going to separate my lashes a little bit more. It just gets everywhere sometimes if you're not careful. Because it's a very wet formula. I feel like even when I like move on to like setting my face, it still like hasn't completely dried yet sometimes. And it like will drive me nuts. And I'm just going to do my lower lash line real quick. But it's a really nice mascara. It just like transfers. Kind of transferred a little bit on. All right, I'm just going to finish that up really quick. All right, so the eyes are pretty much done. I really like how the look turned out. It's just a really pretty warm toned eye. I mean, you guys know that's basically what I do all the time. I just want to wipe off this mascara on my hand. Thank God I brought makeup wipes in here. All right, so now we're going to move on to setting my face. And I'm going to go back into that Wet n Wild pressed powder. Photo Focus pressed powder in warm light, and we're just going to use that to set my whole face. And like I said before, this is a really good powder for really light makeup looks or full coverage. It's just a really nice setting powder. So I'm just going to use that. And this is really nice because it doesn't ever look dry. It just looks super smooth to set your... It kind of really reminds, I mean, it is pretty much a straight up dupe for the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural or the Mineralized Skin Finishes, but I find that it has a little bit more coverage. I find that this one's even like more lightweight. So we just did a light coating of powder with that. It's just really nice for full coverage foundations because it really doesn't feel like powder at all. Or it's really nice for really light foundations because I like it just to softly set my face with a much lighter coverage foundation. So now we're going to go into contouring, and we're going to step back into the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette in Dulce de Leche, and we're going to use this side of the palette in this really beautiful brown. Now, this is extremely pigmented, like kind of insane how pigmented these are. So I'm not joking when you need the lightest little tap like this. And that's pretty much it. And it'll like contour your whole face. Like, I'm not even joking. So I'm just going to take my Real Techniques brush and just suck in my cheeks and contour. See how much that light tap got on my cheeks? Like, that's insane. So I kind of shy away from this for everyday use. I only really use it like for when I really want like a really nice contour, but the powder is gorgeous. Like, they're super smooth powders. They're just super pigmented. All right, so that's all I'm going to do for that, and I'm just going to do it on this side too. And I really just tap off the excess. That's like insane. I'm just going to take a tiny bit more just to drag it down a little bit more. And I'm going to start to contour my forehead as well and just use the excess. Look how much excess there is. Like, that's what I'm telling you. Like, I feel like this was like for like darker skin tones, because I'm like, this is so pigmented for lighter skin tones to use this. I'm like, I feel like it's so brown sometimes that's like so hard to work with. Not that it's hard to work with, it's just be careful dipping your brush in, because then I feel like you're just gonna look like a muddy mess. And I feel like most people who use this like are probably more tan than me, that they're like, oh, it's okay, you'll be fine. Like, I feel like they don't really say anything about the formula, that they're super hella pigmented, you know? And I'm just going to contour my a little bit of up here, and then I'm just going to take a little bit and put it on my jawline. Hopefully not too much. Again, these are just like really, really super pigmented. Like, really, really tap off the excess. And I'm just going to drag just a little bit down, just to give myself a little bit of color. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for that. And then I'm going to take the opposite side again, and I'm just going to clean up my contour with that really pretty white shade. And I feel like this gives you a little bit of a sharper contour, but also a little bit cleaner. And I still like suck in my cheeks when I do that. All right, so that's it for contouring. Now we're going to move on to blush, and I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes, and I'm going to be using 2 shades. And the first shade I'm going to go in with is Apricot in the middle. And this shade is beautiful. This is like one of my favorite just subtle blushes. It's just really gorgeous for everyday wear. I really adore the formula of these Wet n Wild blushes because they're not too pigmented, and I feel like you can really build up the color, that it's not going to be like insanely orange when you put it on. And I much prefer that with blushes, because sometimes like brands, they just like make the blushes so pigmented, and I understand that's good for like deeper skin tones and stuff, but do you think like a deeper skin tone is going to be wearing like a shade like this unless they like come out with like 2 different versions of it, you know? But like I feel like so many brands like cater just to um, lighter skin tones that, you know, I shouldn't be complaining, but this is like a really nice buildable formula, so. See how pretty that is? It's just easy to work with. I'm just going to place that here and on the other side. But I am getting ready for work, if I didn't say that before. That's why I'm wearing this shirt once again. I pretty much live in my Lucky clothing. I put on a lot. But I feel like if I do that, it's not going to be like a crazy pigmented blush, which I do really like. See how pretty that is? So that's it for that shade. And then I'm going to, well, that shade's so pretty, right? And then I'm going to top it off with this Wet n Wild Rose Champagne shade. With this shade Rose Champagne. I don't know why I said Wet n Wild again. And this one, I don't absolutely love this one on its own. I kind of really like mixing the two together. Because this one's a lot more of like a golden blush than like a peach one. And I find that it just doesn't have as much color for me. Because I feel like since I'm so pale, I need something just a little bit darker, like the apricot one, to really just make my skin look a little bit more alive. I feel like that one makes me look a little bit dead because the color is very light. But it's still a really nice blush. What I was going to say about the eyeliner before is that I did try the black one, and I think I preferred the black one over this one. It wasn't as pointy, but somehow I completely misplaced it. I went out to stay in a hotel room with with my best friend and her other friends, and we stayed overnight, and I had bought this waiting for her, and then I think I probably lost it in the hotel room. I don't think I ever brought it home. So anyway, we're going to move on to highlight, obviously my favorite part always. So we're going to mix together two highlights. So of course, I'm going to be using the Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals because, hello, I love this so much. I think that every person that does, again, a one brand tutorial with Wet n Wild uses this, but these are such bomb highlights, you guys. Like, they are so intense. So I'm just going to really just coat my brush with that. And I'm going to highlight my face with my Anastasia A23 brush. And I actually like sucking in my cheekbones when I do my highlight too. It's so pretty. Look at that. I'm just going to highlight with that, and then I'm going to take some more and do the other side. And it has such a gorgeous formula. Kind of getting glitter everywhere, but it's okay. And then I'm going to just bring it down my nose. Cupid's bow. I have to eat in like a half hour. But I had plenty of time to film this. I sat down at like 3 o'clock. I feel like this would have taken so much longer if I filmed it in my bathroom. But I've had this highlight for a while and I just freaking love it. It's so gorgeous. And then, am I gonna wet that right now? Yeah, I am. I'm also gonna take it and I'm just gonna wet it with the new spray that I got today. But I'll talk about that when I'm setting my face. But I'm gonna try it to wet my highlight. Because you can take any setting spray and do that. Hopefully. Oh, that smells. How old is this? That smells really bad. That smells like my Urban Decay spray that I had bought. I don't think I'm going to use that. I don't know if this is really old or not. It doesn't say an expiration date. We'll try it today. And then if I don't like it, I'll return it. I just feel like that smell isn't really a good sign. Because I remember when I used, or when I tried to use, but it really does make my, it smells like, the Urban Decay spray that I got from Ulta when I used to work there. Oh my God, my eyebrows are nuts. And I left it in my cabinet for a while, and I feel like it ended up going bad that way because it wasn't at room temperature. It smells like that. It smells bad. Like it doesn't smell good at all. I don't know if I'm going to use that to actually set my face because it smells pretty bad. So I don't know. I'm sorry if that sucks, but it does suck for me too because I bought it, but I might have to go return it. So anyway, we'll talk about that when we set my face. So now I'm going to be mixing it with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Gold Bar in the shade Gold Rush. This is not my absolute favorite formula. Oh, God, please don't dig your finger into it. Jeez. Sorry. And this is not my favorite formula, but I do like this to layer. But I definitely prefer the formula of the other Mega Glow highlighting powders than this one. But I wanted to try this because I'm like a gold highlighting junkie. I just love gold highlighter. That's really pretty over it. Like, gold is like my favorite thing to highlight with. Like, my favorite color. I can smell it, like the smell lingering on my brush. And I don't know if I'm really gonna use that to set my face. But that highlight turned out really gorgeous. Like, it really did make my highlight look wet. But the other Mega Glow powders really do make your face look wet. So that is pretty much it for this whole look. For the face. And I think the highlight looks poppin', but they're so beautiful. But yeah, I definitely prefer this. That kind of threw me off a little bit, so I'm sorry. But this formula I definitely prefer over this one. So now I'm just going to just brush my face a little bit more with this just to mesh everything together. I forgot to bring my Hourglass powder in here, but that's not Wet n Wild, so we're just going to use this just to tie everything together, just to blend out everything. And I think that's it for the actual face. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And now I guess I'm going to use this. I mean, again, I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, it was sealed. Like, the thing was absolutely sealed. So this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. And this is an all-day wear setting spray. So I'm going to try it. Let me just spray it like on my hand. It doesn't smell that bad. All right, we're going to try it. All right. So wish me luck. Seems to smell okay. And it doesn't feel weird. And it's pretty hydrating. So that's the first time I've tried this guy. I try not to spray it too much around my nose area because I know it's going to stink if I do. But I saw her, Kathleen Lights, use this in her video, and I was like, I should pick up a setting spray to try out in the video. So I got this guy, and we'll see how it keeps on my makeup. I just wasn't too crazy about the smell. Anything that smells pretty bad, I'm just not a huge fan of. Maybe I'll just return this after using it in this video, just to use it once and just return it. I don't even know. But I picked that up today too, and I don't know, that just like that smell just kind of threw me off. So I think it smells okay now. I just sprayed it a couple times. It definitely is a really wet setting spray, and it's pretty easy to dispense, so I did like that. So let's see how my face looks now with it. I mean, it made it look pretty good. It's kind of, oh my God, my stupid hair drives me nuts. It's a little, there's like, I can see a spot that hasn't completely dried yet, so I'm just gonna pounce that in with my Beauty Blender. So now we're going to move on to brows. And I picked this up today too. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Brow Pencil in the shade Brunettes Do It Better. And it comes with a spoolie and a pencil. So we're going to try that out. So I'm just going to brush my brows out with a spoolie. Actually kind of like that. Spoolie, it's pretty nice. I don't really use eyebrow pencils that much to set my to fill in my brows anymore. I like using push-up products, and now I'm going to be using the pencil side to fill in my brows. Hopefully this is not too dark. Oh, I like that. Caitlin, oh my god. You just made that really dark. That's a pretty dark shade. Oh my god. I also really have to pluck my eyebrows. My eyebrows are a little bit crazy, but that is filling in my brows pretty nicely. I'm just going to brush through my brows with a spoolie again when I'm done. The setting spray smell is like worrying me. Oh my god, this is really dark. Holy crap, look how thick my brows look. Dang. Alright, we gotta brush this out a little bit. Kind of getting a little bit nervous. This is why I don't use brow pencils. Oh my god, look how thick that is. Jeez. Oh my god. Crap. My eyebrows are so thick right now. I don't know if I love this shade. Oh my god, that made my brows look really thick. Alright, I think that's all I'm gonna do right now. If I fill them out more, I mean, it's not like terrible. I'm just gonna try and disperse the product a little bit more by doing that. I think that's better. I don't know, I like it. I think it looks good. Alright, and then I'm just gonna set my brows really quickly with my L'Oreal Brow Stylist mascara. Alright, so that's it for the brows. If they look a little bit wonky, it's because that's my own natural hair. Everything else is pretty much fine. So if it looks like I look like a troll doll, I'm sorry, but it does not look like that in person. So now we're going to go in with our lip color, and then we're going to be done. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Perfect Pout Gel Lip Liner in the shade Bear to Comment. This is one of my favorite nude liners. If this pushes up out of here, this might be broken. Okay, good. At least it comes out. And I'm just going to line my lips with that. Oh my god. See, this is why I didn't want to use this. Because it's basically like this is all that's left in here. I'm going to try. I'm going to go very light-handed, but this is like really, really sad. There's no more product left in here. Like, I didn't think I used it up that quickly. Oh, Jesus. Alright, I'm going to try and like push it down more. And these are a really, really nice formula. These are like some of my favorite liners. I just wish they came out with more colors because I would purchase like all of them. This is definitely like my most used one. I love this color. It's so beautiful for like everyday lipsticks. So I use this like constantly. Those liners are really good. I would have used this one if this one didn't really work properly, but this one's called Sand Nudes. But it's very, very light, and I think that this one goes better with the lipstick that I'm using. So then the lipstick I'm going to go in with is the Wet n Wild 902C Bare It All Matte Lipstick. And I'm just going to fill in my lips, and then I'll tell you guys my thoughts. I'm just going to fill in my lips with that. I'm just going to finish filling them in. All right, you guys, so this is pretty much the finished look. I really like how it turned out. I mean, I've done this look before a bunch of times with this eyeshadow palette, so I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This is like my first run of a one brand tutorial, and I think it turned out really nice. Besides the setting spray, I think everything else was pretty much awesome. Except for the stuff I picked up today. I wasn't too crazy about all this stuff. The setting spray it smells pretty bad, honestly. I think I'm going to go and return this at some point. Probably on Thursday. I don't think I'm going to go back to CVS tonight because I think I'm just going to be too tired after work. I'm working until 8. I have to eat something really quick, and I'm actually going to change my lip color because I've worn this lip color a bunch of times, so I don't really need to wear it again. But I just wanted to use it for this look. But the setting spray, I don't know. It smells pretty funky, so I might have to return that. But it did have a nice spritz to it, so I don't know. Like, I hope that this hasn't been sitting on the shelf for a long time, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. The brow pencil was good. I just think I need a little bit of a lighter shade. It is a good shade for me, but I think I need ash brown. That's the shade that I use in the L'Oreal Shape and Fill Brow Pencil. But I just really wanted to try a brow product from Wet n Wild. This is one of their older products though, so I'm not sure about this. And then the kohl liner was good. It just irritated my under eyes a little bit, but it is a really good liner. I do really like that. And then for the lipstick, what I was going to say before is that I've used this lipstick like a bunch of times. I love this formula. It's a very matte formula, so it just goes on a little bit tuggy like I was when I was putting it on my lower lips. I can't speak now. I've been talking too long already. But it is a really pretty lipstick and a really good formula. I picked this up because of Andrea Mattiliano. She used to talk about this lipstick like all the time. It's like one of her all-time faves, so I picked it up, and it's just such a beautiful formula. It's such a beautiful shade. And also Kathleen Lights used this one in her one brand Wet n Wild tutorial too. And I knew I was going to use this lipstick anyway because it went really beautifully with this look. I love this eyeshadow palette. It's a really pretty just little drugstore palette. So if you were interested in like picking up new drugstore products or trying out a new eyeshadow palette, and if you like warm tones, I would go with this palette. It's not an absolute essential palette for me, but it is a really nice formula. I love the inner corners too. The mascara is good as well. I do love it as an everyday mascara. Love the highlighters, love the blushes, and the foundation and the concealer are good as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if there's any products here that you guys have tried and if you guys love. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media, and bye guys!